Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Monday, September 25th, and we're going to continue to see the drought conditions, and we're going to see again another couple of days where we can see record or near record high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. The record for today is 91 degrees here in Breckenridge. The record for tomorrow is 90, and both of those look to be in jeopardy, as I expect in this area with the very, very dry soil conditions, and dew points just slightly lower than what they were late last week and over the weekend. That's going to allow for the temperatures to make up for it and rise a little higher. So I think a solid low 90s for today and tomorrow across the area. We'll see much cooler conditions, well back to near normal, that is, as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with highs in the 60s to around 70. I think we'll get at least into the low 70s over the weekend. And then I think for next week, we'll see temperatures run about 5 to 7 degrees above normal, as we see plenty of at least low 70s. By then, the normal highs will be in the mid 60s. So we got some more warm weather, and that looks to continue right through the extended outlook. You can see behind me, September is running 4.2 degrees above normal so far. And here are your normals at the beginning of the month. We're up in the upper 70s. We drop down into the mid 60s once we get to the end of the month, and you can see the normal lows as they drop down into the low to or mid 40s once we get towards the end of the month. And our record lows, the coldest temperatures ever recorded in 24 degrees, and our two high temperatures 98 degrees. If we look at what that's done for the growing degree days, you can see here in the last 10 days how we've shot right back up towards the top 1/3 of growing degree days. That was updated as of yesterday. And as far as our 90 degree days, certainly increased a lot of those. 4 of them added to the totals for Breckenridge, Middleton, and for places like Clarksville, Henderson, and for Lansing as well. A number of these are record highs as well. And you can see the warmest temperatures so far for this year, other than Jasper and Blissfield, they've all occurred in the month of September, and even these ones in June. So you got July and August not seeing the hottest temperatures, rather June and September, which is very rare. And again, I'll be checking through the record books once this heat wave is done. But I just don't, I'd be curious to see if we've ever had a heat wave of 5 or even 6 days after the 20th of September. So this is a very, very rare event. And as far as some of the temperatures for Breckenridge here, you can see we've had 4 straight days of record high temperatures, and I think we have a chance at least 2 more, with the record today being 91 and 90 for tomorrow. I think those are both in jeopardy as it looks right now. And again, as the heat goes on, or was that supposed to be as the heat goes on? Okay, not too funny. But okay, if we look at the overall over the last 5 days since Thursday, you can see at these locations in red, these are not only record highs for the day, and most of these are the hottest it's ever been for so late in the year. And again, all these are most likely records for the individual stations. I'll try to compare these up to some of the long-term stations that's been here since the late 1800s. If they're real close to some of these areas, we'll try to fill in these as far as whether or not they're records or not. But just flat out, a lot of 90 degree days we've picked up. And what that's done as far as the drought index, it's expanded the abnormally dry area, and now we have a moderate drought conditions around south central lower Michigan, and with very little precipitation expected this week. We got 2 shots at rainfall, I think, for late Tuesday night, and then again for Thursday night into Friday morning. But both of those don't look like combined we'll be lucky to see 1/10 of an inch of rain. Some areas could pick up 1/4 of an inch. Of course, if you do get a thunderstorm, your localized area could get more, but for the most part, we just don't expect a lot of rainfall across southern lower Michigan. So don't be surprised if the next drought outlook is even worse than this here across the area. And you can see as far as that moisture, if we look at the monthly comparisons from April, May, and June, plenty of precipitation, but since then, only 58% in July, 58% in August. We're down now to only 28% of the normal rainfall through the first 25 days of September. So an extremely dry September. And if we look at the soil conditions, obviously where we've got circled here, bone dry conditions at the 2-inch level, and also dry at the 8-inch levels at most locations. Whereas in Clarksville, though, they have irrigation down there, so that certainly wet there thanks to their irrigation. You can see current temperatures across the area this morning, mainly in the mid 60s. We got some upper 50s around Newaygo on that low spot. And in Henderson, we're in the low 70s at 71 degrees for the warm spot. If we look at the satellite, you can see Hurricane Maria. Again, it looks like it's going to bring maybe some precipitation to the Carolinas. Not a whole lot. It looks like it's going to turn and then move safely out to sea, but certainly large swells and rip currents across portions of the East Coast. And you can see our big dominant ridge that's keeping all this precipitation well off to our west. We talked about this last week, how that ridge was just going to hold in place and all the bulk of the precipitation would stay safely way off to our northwest. But boy, we really do need the rainfall. But hopefully we can squeeze out a shower here Tuesday and then again Thursday, but odds are not very good at all. If we look at the radar, you can see where all that precipitation continues to move well off to our northwest, and they're getting plenty of precipitation once you get back into western Iowa, Minnesota, up into northwest Wisconsin, even western UP getting some pretty good rainfall here over the last 5 days, and they'll continue to see some of that here over the next few days. Finally, that cold front will sweep through the area. That'll give us our best chance as we get into Thursday. But again, not a whole lot around the area is expected. If we look at the forecast map for this morning, our high pressure system is anchored into the Ohio Valley, keeping all the precipitation off to our west. You can see Hurricane Marie will become Tropical Storm Marie tomorrow, and this is about as close as it's going to get, and then it should begin to make that cut to the northeast. That'll allow the fronts to all start moving again. We expect more of a progressive pattern here as we get in for the second half of the weekend and next week. But again, not a lot of precipitation here for the Great Lakes. And you can see by Wednesday that front is now off to the east. We're well into the cooler air. And again, certainly it'll be much more comfortable with highs in the 60s to low 70s. That'll be closer to normal. As far as precipitation over the next 7 days, you can definitely see not a whole lot of precipitation across much of lower Michigan, and especially for the areas that are under drought conditions, very dry conditions over the next 7 days. So no real significant rainfall in sight for a while yet. And if we look at the extended outlook, you can see temperatures will be increasingly warm as we see us go back to a warm pattern with ridging in the east and the beginning of a new trough out west. But again, this next one doesn't look like it'll see the heat that we saw with this last one. As far as precipitation, high probability that we're going to be drier than normal right on through the next couple of weeks. And as far as forecast goes, you can see today sunny and hot, highs in the upper 80s to low 90s, record highs. And then again tomorrow, record highs possible with lots of sunshine, maybe a 20% chance of a scattered shower or a storm tomorrow night. Cold front pushes through and we'll see very comfortable temperatures in the mid 60s to around 70 for the second half of the week. Another slight chance of some showers as we get into Thursday night into very early Friday morning. And the weekend right now looks like we'll see plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. As far as weather watch, not a whole lot going on. We got heat warnings for portions of southern Ontario and far southwest Ontario. Honestly, I don't know why we haven't had at least heat advisories for lower Michigan with kids back in school, football practices out in this heat. Again, I really am surprised that we didn't see this as unprecedented heat we've seen across the state here over the last 5 days, and it's going to continue for another couple of days. And then, of course, around the Chicago area, we've got air quality warnings issued for that area. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, a great work week, and 73s to all.